Hi, Gopal. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Thanks. I'm fine. Thanks for your invitation.
Beautiful. And thank you too for being here. And you see, oftentimes, Gopal, I love to thank my guests for two main things. So, firstly, I want to thank you for investing in yourself. And you see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. Say, Gopal, some months back, alright, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry, I just walked past it. But you see, just recently, Gopal, I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and instantly I got the urge to move closer and have a good look. Then when I got closer, Gopal, it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it. Beautiful green leaves and healthy branches, and not just mangoes, but ripe mangoes. So I was really, really excited that day. It was a beautiful moment. Now my point is the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing person that you are today. That alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you see you got the request from me, because I was attracted to the fruit of your work. And here you are, myself and the audience are about to benefit from the fruit of what you're doing. So thank you so very much, Gopal, for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing I could do about it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Gopal, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to a beautiful one, Gopal, I believe it takes the application of knowledge. Not just knowledge, but the application of it. And you see, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Gopal on the show is for the sake of the listeners. Gopal, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for life-changing and transformative information. And I'm totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. We are just so curious right now. We want to know how you got here. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Gopal, over to you.
Okay. Well, it all started in my own childhood. So I was suffering very much and I could not find a solution because all the therapists couldn't really understand me, couldn't really help me. And so I was searching for decades for a solution. And finally, I found someone who was a trauma therapist who understood my situation and helped me out. And that was the starting point of my career as a trauma therapist. So I was healed myself. And then later on in the years, I started trainings and finally I created my own training. So that's why I'm here and how I came to that point. And my whole life is about helping people to, like you said, to find the right knowledge. It's all about the context, and this is so important. People need to know what their situation is, and this is my whole work. This is my whole work. Transfer the knowledge and the wisdom so that everyone understands their situation.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a great one. And I love that. You mentioned that you overcame the trauma. Okay. You see, we have lots of questions on that. All right. Well, let's begin first with how can we, deal with depression? Not in the conventional sense or the traditional way now, but in a new way. How can we deal with depression? Can you talk to us about this?
Yes, it's never about the symptom. That's the first problem. We think that depression is the problem, and if we get rid of the depression, then everything is okay. This is with every problem we have in life, whether it is depression or anxiety or a lack of money or conflicts with partner or loss of close friends. Whatever we believe the cause is of our suffering is wrong. It looks as if it is the depression. It looks as if it is this event or that circumstance or this illness. This is how we make our world coherent, but it's actually not the cause of our suffering. So if we really want to deal with depression, at least this is my perspective, and my way to help people is to get completely away from the symptom and the so-called problem, and look what is not resolved on the relational level, because all the suffering comes from unresolved issues on the relational level, and these issues that create tension and stress in the body, and over time the stress in the body creates the symptoms on the outside. So if we try to work on the depression, we are in a deep trouble, we are in a trap. It's not about the depression. It's about what we not dare to share in close relationships. But at the beginning, this is not so easy to understand, because we are so used to live on the outside, we are focused on the manifestations on the outside, not on the core movement inside of us.
Got that. Just like when you are having headache, and now the problem is not the headache, but the headache is just signaling that something is wrong with the head. When you're having a pain somewhere, that's not really the problem, but the pain is just like signaling that there is something wrong here. Okay, I got that. So
Not
you
even that.
mentioned,
It's not even that. It's not even that. Of course, you have to go to see a physician and a doctor, but if you have pain somewhere in the body, it's not about the body. It's again, every pain in the body reflects an unresolved relational issue. So even if you have a headache or if you have pain somewhere, it's not really the pain of the body. It's a distorted way of yourself to express a pain, an emotional pain, that the system is not able to directly communicate. Are you still there? Are you still there? Are you still
okay,
there?
here we go. Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry about that, the
Oh,
network.
there's a problem with the internet.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
maybe
You were
we
saying,
start again with it.
okay. What I mean by saying when you're having headache, the headache is not the problem, but it's just the pain is not a problem, but it's just signaling that something is wrong with the head. It's just trying to buttress what you also said, that people are focusing on the outer part, the manifestation, ignoring the core issue. You know, it's just like folks who are struggling with divorce out there. Divorce ain't the problem. It's just a sign that something is wrong with the marriage. But here we are trying to work out and overcome divorce, ignoring the deep root of the problem, which is maybe these two folks aren't understandable enough, or those folks aren't meant to be together. Some sort of things like that. So that's what I'm just trying to buttress about what you said. You get it? So you mentioned healing from trauma, all right? So let's say someone heard you say that on this podcast, and a person be like, "Hey, Gopal, I've got a question. You mentioned you healed from your trauma, all right? I've got a lot of traumas in me right now. How can I heal from them all? What would your response say? Be, rather.
It's the mind that wants tips and tricks and strategies for that, but it's not working on that level. The only way to heal from that is by making new experiences in being in a deeper contact with someone. So it's actually not the mind that can find the solution. It's more that the whole system with emotions and physical states experience that a more closer relationship is safe and is not creating danger. And for that, usually a therapist is necessary because the mind itself is the problem. The mind had to separate from dissociate from the rest of the system. And this itself is the problem. And now the dissociated mind wants to find a solution. It cannot find really a solution. It needs information how or where to go to, which person is able to help this distorted system to experience a close relationship. So I would say the best way to do that is to read about developmental and attachment trauma. These are the main keywords. And if you understand that, if you understand more or less what this is all about, then you can search for a therapist that works on that level. Because if you go to a therapist who does not work on that level, it's almost impossible to really progress and to make a deep transformation.
I got that. You mentioned therapist. Okay, let's talk about honest sharing. All right. How is honest sharing different from, having therapy or something?
Well, honest sharing is not my therapy. Yeah, it's a self-help method. It has nothing to do with therapy. It's a self-help method that people can use together and to establish that connection without a specialist. But it of course has limitations. It is no therapy, but people can, by doing that, enter a deeper experience of being in connection than they usually are able to establish. Because that's the magic of the honest sharing process, that we can bypass our ego in a way by really applying the instructions. So it is not comparable to a therapy, but we can, with honest sharing, we can do something like we can start with the transformation. Yeah, and people who are not so traumatized to a certain level, with honest sharing, they can transform their lives for sure, because they can experience a very deep level of connection. And this is the main problem, that people do not know anymore how to really connect with people, how to share everything that's inside of them. And honest sharing itself is just a list of simple instructions, how to communicate, not what, just how. And that means, for example, how to communicate body sensations, how to communicate emotions, and how to communicate thoughts. And this is done by phrases that we put in front of every sentence we say. For example, if I share my emotions, I just say I feel sadness. If I share my body sensations, I just say I feel warmth in my belly, for example. And if I want to share my thoughts, then I say my head thinks that. And this is the crucial thing. If I say my head thinks that, then I create a distance to my own thoughts. I become like a witness to my thoughts. So I dissolve the identification with my whole thinking process. And this creates a big freedom. And if I get used to it more and more, I realize, wow, I'm not my thoughts.
Amazing.
So if we communicate in that way, it doesn't matter what is inside of us, because this way of communication is never hurting. It does not hurt the other, no matter what's inside of me. And it's not threatening to the other. And both will make a very new experience.
Amazing. I got that. Okay. Some folks might not know how to communicate this way. So how long do you think it takes to learn honest sharing? Okay. Did you get the question?
Sorry. No.
Okay, I said, some folks might not know how to communicate this way, this honest sharing stuff. And how can they learn it? And how long does it take?
I'm there again.
Okay, here we go. The issue with the network. Sorry about that too.
It's on my side. Sorry. It's
Okay, no
my
worries, no
problem here.
worries. So let's just talk about how long it takes for folks to learn, honest sharing. For individuals who don't know how to communicate that way, how long does it take?
It can take maybe 5 minutes. Well, it's so simple. It's very simple to apply that. So I would say 5 minutes is enough. But the problem is the ego doesn't want that. So it may take longer to really do it, but the rules to understand and how it is done, it's just 5 minutes. Because honest sharing is just beginning every sentence with a certain phrase. That's really all. But the ego will not like that. So it will, in a way, distort it or try to distort it. And then it doesn't work as it should. So we have to really concentrate on that we apply the rules correctly and use the phrases as I have defined them. And it depends. There are people who understand that. They read the rules and they apply it and they have their transformation, and this is all done in 5 minutes. There are other people who try that for weeks and just, distorting the whole process. So it depends. It depends how sincere you want to do that.
I got that. Okay, that's a beautiful one. Now, for folks who like to reach out to you, Gopal, or ask questions, or learn more about everything we've talked about, how can that be possible?
The easiest way is to go to YouTube and look up for my name, Gopal. You will find some English videos there, and also my Zoom event where people can participate and see how I work with people. This is Sunday with gopal.com. This is the easiest way, I would say.
Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Gopal. Thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing these stuff with us. It means a whole lot, man. Thank you.
Thank you.